Welcome to the Legal Weekly Wine, a show where we do the hottest legal weekly topics every Friday afternoon for happy hour. Today, we are doing something a little unconventional. This is only our second show, but it's the holiday season, right? So instead of doing our more intensive overviews of what's going on legally, we're going to do some funny outtakes.
Yes.
I think.
Yes. Virginia has no idea what's coming yet, but I'm sure a lot of our listeners will be familiar with the Reddit thread AITA, which is AMIV. I'll let you guys fill in the blank. But Virginia is new to this, so I will be reading her some of the top stories off of this thread, and we already know she's an incredible attorney, but we're going to see her in the role as a judge, and you will get to decide which party was actually in the wrong.
I'm excited. So I am Virginia Tehrani, and
I'm Chelsey Rogers.
And this is the Legal Weekly Wine, brought to you by Tehrani Law, LLC, because you never need a lawyer.
Till you do.
All right, getting to it. So last week, for those of you who were here, this is our second episode. Last week, we talked about Casey Anthony, and what we're doing is trying to pull in the hot legal topics truly that are going on. And last week we were realizing, wow, Casey Anthony is back in the news. We've got this crazy new documentary that's going on. So we wanted to address that. I think it was fairly interesting. Absolutely fascinating.
Brilliant.
So we did a really big deep dive into that. So if you missed it and want to check into it, go back last week. We are on most podcasting sites, including Podbean and Spotify. We also did the video version. We uploaded that to YouTube. And you can do the same today. So we're all on the same networks and uploaded onto YouTube for the video portion of it. And we're doing the same today.
Yeah. Normally, comment, subscribe, all of that.
As Chelsey says.
Yes, like, comment, subscribe. If you have questions either about what we covered for Casey Anthony in our first episode, drop those in the comments. We would love to address some of those. Or if you have a funny story you would like us to read, perhaps on our next relaxing holiday special of an episode, let us know. But we really like engaging with you. It makes us happy to get feedback and sort of incorporate you guys into the process.
Yeah, so thanks for doing that. We love the feedback that we have been getting. We are excited to move on. But yeah, we were going to talk about Gabby Petito today, and that has been our intention. Chelsey has been studying up on the case so that we can be ready.
Yes, and in my research, I've realized that it's going to be a pretty extensive sort of covering in probably at least 2 parts.
Yeah.
And we don't want to leave you guys on a cliffhanger at the end of the year, sort of waiting for an episode a week away or even further. So we're going to make sure we do all of those together. And that way you're not waiting as long. And
yeah, because we're going on vacation too, all right?
Yes.
It is the holidays. It is Christmas time. It's the Friday before Christmas, guys.
Yes.
We are both going to be off and to our own hometowns in Tennessee and in Georgia. Yeah. So we are going to let you also have some vacation time. Pick us up again in the new year for our episode 3.
Yes.
And right now we're going to get down to the wine part of the Legal Weekly Wine, is drinking wine.
Take it away, Virginia.
So we told, if you remember from last week, and put in the comments if you do, we said Chelsey will be bringing her favorite wine next week. Did we not?
Oh, we did. And see, here's the thing. See what had happened was.
See what had happened was. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And
am I judging now or later?
Oh, now.
Okay.
No. I am definitely the A in AITA here. I forgot simply and just did not bring it with me. See, I traveled a long distance to come and visit Virginia. Not really. I'm JK. But in that process of like packing up all my items and, packing everything in the kitchen sink, I did actually forget my bottle of wine by the kitchen sink. And unfortunately, was not able to share today. But look, we're going to pick up in the new year. I'm going to be doing a deep dive on Gabby Petito, and I am going to be bringing my favorite wine to share.
Good. Well, thank goodness we still drink wine at my house. So I grabbed another bottle of our wine that we enjoy. And today, for our drinking pleasure, and pick up your own bottle of your favorite wine, or grab one of the one that we're drinking. Today, we are going to one of our standbys. This is what my husband and I drink a lot of. It is Dark Horse. A beautiful bottle, kind of burgundy and white, Dark Horse Cabernet Sauvignon. We love cabs. Absolutely love them. And we found this bottle, not this particular bottle, but a bottle of it, I think for about $9. And we're like, oh, well, that's fairly cheap. Let's try it, see if we like it. And now it's the wine that when our families come over, they ask if we have it.
It's like the default. Oh, I love that.
It is. They're like, oh, do you have that dark thing, the Dark Horse? Yes, the Dark Horse. So we do have the Dark Horse. We keep it on supply and demand. This is your first time that you're going to be trying it. It is clearly not my first time. I love it. I'm going to try not to drink the whole bottle. And I will say something about last week. Ready?
Yes, address it.
I only drank one glass of wine.
We didn't refill.
We didn't.
I think.
What were we thinking?
Here's the real tea.
We did over an hour and a half, which we are not going to do today.
No. But I think the thing is, as you can see, both of us are clearly very monotone, non-expressive. No, both of us are very excitable, are very expressive. We speak with our hands. We're loud. We're boisterous. And we have the mics situation. They're great. They're not on the table.
Wonderful mics.
They are set up in a great position, but they are in front of us, as mics have to be for this sort of endeavor. And I think we were both kind of scared to move in case we hit the mic.
We did, and we bumped the table a couple of times. And for those of you watching, it is a little unsteady. We have a bar table set up. So we have this beautiful bar table and 2 bar stools that we got through Facebook Marketplace, which is kind of fun. And we are loving them, but it's on a carpet. You can't see the bottom, but we have placed it on a carpet. Do not ask us why. It's a whole long story. But when we nudge it, you're going to see in the video that it moves a little bit. And it's a little bit scary, especially with red wine and our carpet and our microphones and everything else. But today, it is the holidays. It is the Friday before Christmas.
Little holiday cheer.
And I'm going to at least finish this glass of wine. And if we go longer, I'm going to fill myself up another one. And if we wish you happy holidays before I do another, please be sure that I'll have the second glass even without you.
I love that. So let's cheers to that.
Cheers.
Cheers. I did gulp again, but
you did.
The problem is, the more I try not to gulp, the more I think about it, like the drier my throat becomes until it completely constricts.
Wait, yeah, we got so, again, this is the holidays, guys. We're going to keep it a little bit lighter, a little bit more personal here for good or for ill. But truly, so my husband, Eric, is a saint and is doing so much of props to Eric. We're probably going to try to put something in the video on that. Yeah. But he is doing all of the lighting, the
production,
mics,
editing,
everything.
And I have made editing very difficult. So if you guys have stuck with us so far, go ahead and put like a claps, a thumbs up to Eric in the comments.
Sorry, cheers to Eric's in the comments.
Because I have made his life particularly difficult the past few weeks, and I just need him to know. I am so sorry.
We're going to try to make it a little less difficult today, but seriously, so...
Aside from my big gulp, this was delicious.
Yes, the gulp. Yes, poor Eric was editing, and his first comment to the both of us was, "Who gulped?" Like, oh, you actually heard that on the microphone. But
no, I knew they heard it because I gulped, right? Okay.
It's a very good microphone.
It is a very good microphone, and I think I'm clearly not shy, but...
What?
No, oh my God, I'm so timid.
Really?
But no, I think that... And I'm not used to having a mic in front of me all the time. So in my mind, I was very much focused on like, don't gulp, don't like slurp in the microphone. Not that I do that normally, but I just know how sounds are so much louder on this mic. And so the more I thought about it, truly, my throat was constricting last week. And so I went to sip it. And it was the loudest gulp that you will hear like round 2 of in this episode.
Until today, it was the loudest gulp you'd ever heard.
And I don't know why. It just makes me anxious to drink around a microphone, I suppose.
Well, you've got a long glass to go.
Enjoy the gulps.
Enjoy, and we're going to ask Eric not to edit them out and see what happens for your pleasure. Anyway, okay. So Christmas before, we're going to come back to Gabby Petito in the new year. And I am not sure whether to be afraid of what's coming next or whether just to be excited.
You should be both. I think you just have to realize this showbiz, baby. you have to
I feel like we're in the musical Chicago.
Truly. But as we said before, we'll clarify now. So Virginia is not as familiar, but I think it's pretty common for people who grew up in the internet age. We know what Reddit is. I mean, you know what Reddit is.
I know it, but it's not
the entrenched. One of the most popular Reddit threads, as we said at the beginning, is AITA. And essentially, anonymous users submit a story that tends to be quite not controversial, but dramatic, maybe is the better word.
Okay.
But they ask the members of the Reddit forum to vote up that, yes, they are the, or
the
down.
person who should be blamed.
Yes.
It's not a good thing.
Or downvote it and say, no, usually the other party involved is the person in the wrong. Okay. So what I have done is looked up the top stories. So these are some of the most popular, have had the most interactions on the site. I'm going to read them to you, and I will do my best to maintain a composed news reporter type, professional.
Get on your news reporter voice. You get that on, I'll go for NPR.
Yes, you have NPR. I have like Red Bull Fuel.
You're going to be on the Red Bull commercials, and I'll be on NPR.
Yes, like baby reporter. So I'm going to read them to you, and I am going to let you have the final ruling because we know you're a great attorney. Eventually, I think you will be a judge, but we will give you a little practice here first.
Not my good idea.
And also in this court, none of the evidentiary rules apply. Just
that is good to point out because no evidence rules. I'm going to take every fact
as it is.
As it is, as if it is proven, as if it is true.
Yes.
And put together a verdict.
Beautiful.
Okay,
here's our first story. And don't mind me. I am reading from the forum, so I have my phone. And this one is entitled The Justified Bride. So I, 27 female, am getting married to my fiance, 27 male, in a little under than 3 weeks. Everything has been going amazing with the planning, and I am ecstatic for the day. My best friend, Cassie, whom I've been friends with since we were 10 years old, is my maid of honor. She's truly one of the sweetest people I've ever met. This makes me so nervous.
Really nice. I mean, it doesn't sound like anything's a problem. This sounds quite lovely.
I love the opposite reaction because I'm like, I know this forum. The fact they've been friends since they're 10, this is about to go downhill fast.
Okay, well, it sounds quite lovely. What a wonderful, amazing wedding. Really nice people together. Okay, what's next?
She's truly one of the sweetest people I've ever met and has stuck with me through everything. She's been the biggest help in planning the whole ordeal, and I wouldn't trade her for the world. However, I've never been the biggest fan of her girlfriend, Sophie. I always show her respect and try to include her in things, but she's a huge introvert, and sometimes it can come off as disrespect in return. These are Cassie's words. But they always seem to be happy together, so I hope she warms up to me a little in time. They've only been together for a little over a year and a half. That seems like a long time, personally.
It does seem like a fairly long time.
Okay. So we continue. Several days ago, Sophie approached me asking me if I'd be okay if she proposed during my reception.
The wedding reception? Or like
No, the wedding reception.
The rehearsal dinner? Nothing. The wedding reception.
The wedding reception.
Okay.
She claimed it would be a great way for Cassie and I to bond more, having our weddings linked and all of that. Not that we need any more time to bond. She's already my other half. I love Cassie to death, but I'd never allow that for anyone. I shut the idea down immediately, and Sophie got all angry with me and left. She said something along the lines of, I don't need your permission anyways, and walked out the door. This has made me fearful that she'd attempt it anyways, so I went to Cassie. Needless to say, everything seems
I agree with her so far.
So far.
I actually agree with her that is, I mean, you hate to tell someone they're about to get proposed to, but all right, continue.
No. I agree. I think Sophie at this point has given her no other choice.
Right. What do you do? It's your wedding.
Right.
I mean, the only other thing I can think of to do right now, and maybe I'm jumping ahead,
okay.
so I apologize.
I have no idea.
But the only thing I would think different to do,
okay,
so that I wouldn't give it away to Cassie, is, but this isn't any less dramatic, is just to disinvite her to the wedding.
That was my thought exactly.
It's just, okay, Sophie, I understand and I appreciate it, but
no ring, no bring.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
I've never heard that phrase. Am I too old?
No, I think I just went to undergrad in the South, so everyone I know is married, and that was, you have ring by spring, but no ring, no bring. In the wedding industry is that it's very hard to make guest list, especially when you are trying to have a small guest list. And maybe this became more popular because it's been the COVID era of brides, and so they've really had to pare down guest lists, and that has been a boundary that I have seen people say of like, if you have a lot of family, if you all have a lot of friends, you have to draw the line somewhere. So no ring, no bring.
So far, I agree. Okay, maybe we don't tell Cassie, but we just say, look, we've got to disinvite her. And honestly, even if you've got to disgruntle other guests by not disinviting them too, but it's more general. I don't know. It is super complicated.
This is already
what'd she do?
So uncomfy.
That's a great word for it. Okay, I'm getting more uncomfy.
Okay. Needless to say, Cassie was mad. I never really see her get angry, but she was livid. She apologized profusely and said she couldn't believe Sophie would ever think of doing something like that. And that was the end of our conversation. However, 2 days ago, I got a call from Sophie berating me for spoiling her plan to propose and was informed that Cassie would be attending the wedding by herself and is currently not speaking to her. I was concerned that wasn't the entire story, so I called Cassie. She was a mess, and she was staying with her parents right now and disinvited Sophie as her +1 because she was scared that Sophie would have proposed anyways. Given the chance, she didn't want to ruin my wedding. Good best friend.
That actually is a really good best friend. I mean, for two people who she's claiming her best friend since 10 years old.
Yeah.
It seems like they did there's nothing good in this situation.
No.
There's no easy choice. But so far, it sounds like they both made fairly good adult friend decisions.
Right. If you're in a bad situation, there's not a perfect choice, but I think they handled it decently so far.
They seem to. Is there more?
There's a little bit more, and I'm hoping, I have not read all the way ahead, so I'm hoping there's nothing.
Maybe it's concluded and we're agreed.
Maybe they just say, and we lived happily ever after, right? Okay. She was scared Sophie would have proposed anyways, given the chance, and she didn't want to ruin my wedding. I told her to come stay with me for a while instead, and she showed up several hours later, still a complete mess. She said that she and Sophie had a huge fight, and she was reconsidering whether or not she wanted to stay in the relationship. According to Cassie, these huge fights are a common occurrence. I feel awful for ruining her proposal and potentially ruining her relationship. Cassie has been picking herself up in front of me and continuing to be great with the last-minute to-dos, but I've got her crying when I'm not around. I love her, and I don't want her to resent me for this, so I need to know. AITA, is there anything I can do to fix this?
No.
Final ruling.
Okay, I think it's fairly clear by now where we stand, but I don't think she did anything wrong. I think she actually tried the best she could to do right by her best friend. So that her own and herself, and frankly, you should be a little bit selfish for your own wedding. It is your wedding. You don't want it to be, it's not spoiled, but interfered with. And honestly, if she knows Cassie as well as she seems to have, she may have figured out that Cassie would have been mortified.
Yes.
I mean,
I would feel that way. If I was at my best friend's wedding and my
fiance or your girlfriend,
boyfriend, whatever, decided to propose, I would be mortified.
So maybe it was better that she prevented this. That would have been uncomfortable for both of them. Would have been much worse scenario and situation while it's being recorded and photographed because everybody's got their iPhones. It's a bad situation, but it seems like it could have been a public bad situation for both of them.
I agree. And I also think that even if the friend would have loved it, I think saying don't propose at my wedding is a fair that is a fair thing.
Absolutely. It's like, don't, my mom, don't wear white at my wedding.
Right.
There's clearly some like things that you just don't do at somebody else's wedding.
Exactly.
I think she's perfectly reasonable. I hope that Cassie is doing well, and that they had a lovely wedding with Cassie supporting her, and that Cassie is doing well in whichever relationship that she is in at the moment.
Yes. I was going to say, they sound very mature and responsible.
They really do. I mean, they sound much better than most best friends.
That's what I'm saying, right?
I hope you would do something like that for me.
Yes. I'm a little bit more dramatic. I'm the type to...
You are more dramatic.
Right. Like, I have been self-appointed for my sister. So there's this thing. I went to college in the South, so I swear all of the like algorithms on social media target me for like bridal content. I mean, I guess I am that age, but I would still feel like a child bride at this point. Like, I'm only 27. Like, I can't. But that appointing someone to sort of enforce rules or boundaries you've made for your wedding. And my sister has said this because my sister's the nicest, sweetest person in the world. And she's like, Chelsey, you would be the person appointed to do that. I was like, yes, because I would pour red wine on someone wearing white. You got to be willing to do white. Exactly.
And you know what? Yeah. But for them wearing white, this wouldn't have happened.
That's what I'm saying. And they were on notice.
Okay, so did I judge that right?
Yes. I mean, there is no right or wrong. Some of them get a little bit more split. But I think that one was pretty clear.
Okay.
I'm not the judge here, but I think if you voted that girl was in the wrong, go to therapy. I just can't. Okay.
I think she did the right thing.
I think she did the right thing.
Okay, so I'm a judge still.
Yes, okay.
It's fun because it's not really legal, so I get to still be a legal judge and all, but it's not. I'm not contemplating the universe.
Exactly,
and I like that for the holiday.
Look at that. See,
it's good.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Chelsey. Yeah, we're going to go dark one more time. We're going to go kind of dark for next Tuesday. And I think we're doing this in anticipation of that because we do have our other show, The Law Unscripted, on Tuesdays on the regular podcast arenas as well as YouTube for the video. And for that, we're doing a series on the difference between civil and criminal law. And we are truly going through the O.J. Simpson and the Rodney King cases. And for those of you who are somewhat familiar with them, they are very dark. They're
very upsetting.
Very upsetting. They're very interesting. They're absolutely the right cases to use for civil versus criminal law and all of the intricacies of it. But they are fairly dark. And we just did one on Tuesday, and we know we're doing the next one next Tuesday because we're vacationing next Friday. Yeah. So we've planned ahead. And I think we're overcompensating today, but I'm enjoying myself, and I would love to be a judge for yet another. Take it away.
Okay, perfect. In this story, the title is The Overtime Stepmother.
Oh, no. You know I am a stepmother, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You are. And these are my particular mother-in-law and stepmother conflicts in these Reddit stories are just my particular favorite because they're so complicated, generally.
Okay, so we're going to get into what's called family law.
Yes.
Which is an interesting part of civil law.
I just
usually not criminal
turned
law.
in my final for that class.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
Okay, for family law class.
For family law.
Chelsey's in law school, so this is her third year, and she took a family law class.
A family law class. It only reaffirmed my belief that family law is not for me. Pre-law school, all the way back to sophomore year of undergrad at the first law firm I interned in, had a large family law practice. Absolutely not. Never. I'm good on that. They're just messy. But
they are messy, but they are part of civil law. They're also a civil law. I did a little bit of family law when I first started back in 2005 and the couple years after that. But since then, I also had a lot of difficulties with those cases, and I have never gone back.
That was my... they say know yourself well. I think even at that young age, I was like, I'm not built for this.
This is not for me. Okay, but today I'm going to be a family law judge. Yes. Take it away.
My husband works around his ex's schedule as hers is not as flexible as his, or so she says. Whenever she doesn't want the kids, wants to go out, see her boyfriend, etc., we have the kids as a favor to her. But when we ask for a favor, or when I ask him to ask her to return the favor, nothing happens. We have the kids at least 3 to 5 times a week as she's working. Last week, we had them from Tuesday until this Tuesday, and she didn't tell us that the weekend was actually just a favor as she wanted to go out until he dropped them back off. Ugh. So in return, I asked him to ask for this weekend for us to go away as we were both off, which up until this morning was still the plan. I do want to make a small note here. Based on the spelling, this might not be in the United States.
Oh, fascinating. Really?
Yes, just based on the spelling of a couple words here.
Okay, but we're going to pretend it's as if it's in the United States so we can use our rules.
Yes.
Not of evidence, but at least final judgment and verdict. Yes. Okay, continue.
Over the weekend, she's invited a friend and her son over, knowing that this kid bullies their son. So asked, can we have him for the weekend? So now he's planning to bring him away with us. There's a lot of he, him, but they're saying
it's a little confusing.
The stepmom went out last weekend, so the kids were with, or the regular mom, the stepmom and the dad wanted this weekend off, it seems. But they didn't want their son to get bullied. So they're taking him, and their plans for the weekend are now canceled, is what I'm taking away.
Okay.
I said I'd rather just us go away on the weekend as planned, but if we can't find other arrangements for their son, I'd rather not go at all. So now he thinks I'm being a jerk.
Okay.
This isn't the first time it's happened. We had a night away booked last minute. She called and dropped their daughter off, so we had to bring her with us. Just so you know, we / I spend a lot of time with the kids. They are with us most of the week and take day trips on weekends and just a couple holidays on half terms. This has to be outside of the United States.
Yeah, with the half terms, yeah, it's got to be.
And holidays instead of like vacations.
Go on holiday. I love that.
Me too.
I would totally like to go on holiday. We're going on vacation, not holiday next week.
Yes. I refuse to bring them anywhere with us all the time, just when it's been planned as a couple's getaway. Edit. No, I don't hate the kids. Yes, I understand he's a dad first, but she's a mom first. By favor, I meant when she last minute decides to go see her boyfriend or go out, not by doing parental duties as they each should. Also, I told him to just take his son away and spend the weekend with him. What's your verdict?
Whew, maybe you should have warned me about this one.
I will be honest, I had not read it before. I just did now.
So this is totally, so we're working on a larger, this is sponsored by Tehrani Law, LLC, yes. But we're working on the media portion of it pretty much as a Tehrani Unscripted, Law Unscripted. And as you're being able to tell, this is truly moments of unscripted content. Where we are true, it's just coming live essentially, except that we're recording. You're going to hear it at 4 o'clock, but we are recording it on Friday. So,
but we really don't edit the conversations.
No, we don't edit. We don't edit the conversations.
Really, all the edits that we've been doing are my gulps and
and the one cursey word last week.
There will also be a beeped out cursey word next
little
week.
Beeped out cursey word.
I am trying my best.
You are. You're doing okay.
Cuss like a sailor. And the fact it's only been one every episode, I'm proud of myself. Eric disagrees,
but I am so proud of her. I really am.
Okay. Very proud of you. So what is your ruling?
Okay. So truly, this is coming as I got a drink.
Yeah. This is. I was going to say, this one is, there is the law side of it. There is the personal, because you are married and you are a stepmom.
I am, yeah. This is true, and this is real life. This is real life for me. Yeah. Wow, we have totally gotten away from Gabby Petito and civil versus criminal law, but it's okay. It's good. Because this, I think, is a very common issue.
Yes. And what I have learned in my family law course is that ideally, if there is a marriage that ends and there are children from that marriage, that there is a custody order put in place, and that custody order is followed, by the book. But the thing is that is not, the law is great for some things. It would be my contention that the adversarial system is not for family law. Like, it just should not be.
It's hard for it to be. And they try to do a lot more mediations and that sort of thing for the family law in at least in America.
Yes.
I'm not sure where she's from, but at least in America, that there is trying to be a lot of mediation, a lot of trying to work something out rather than being, here's rule A that applies. You just do A for your entire
Right.
family. They try to take a family effect. And even the judges that I know in Virginia and Maryland, when they're facing something like this, it's not just pull out a chart and here's a Tuesday and we'll do every Tuesdays. It's trying to come up with something that the parties agree to. And then if that doesn't work, at least something that can accommodate both parties in a more reasonable fashion, even if they don't all agree, but that seems better for the family.
Right, but even if they get these court orders right, the law is slow moving and expensive and arduous. So in practicality, we will assume good faith on both sides.
Absolutely.
There's tons of situations where good faith on both sides does not end up in following a custody order. Exactly. Things change. It takes time to change the orders. There's just a life component.
Even when you're trying to follow the custody orders, like I'm an attorney, so in looking at them, I'm the first one who's like, well, you can't change custody order. Once we start changing the custody order, we don't go through with this on a Tuesday. Then if we get into court, the judge will say, well, you don't follow this rule on Tuesday, so we can't enforce the Tuesday rule, which is pretty real.
Yes.
But let's face it, for a lot of people in the custody schedule world, that is a reality. Is how you really can't enforce every Tuesday. Sometimes things come up. I get sick.
Yeah,
I can't COVID. Even.
That's what I was just
talk
thinking.
about
Is when
COVID.
you have to quarantine from COVID.
And Tuesdays don't work. You can't drop them off on Tuesdays. So yeah, life happens, and I think the idea behind the custody awards and orders and agreements, even outside of the court, are that that's the intention. You're supposed to be following these rules. You do your best to comply with them. If they're not complied with on a continuous basis, they're continually done, then you have a problem.
Which
and it sounds like that might be happening, where if this is more than just a couple offs, one off here, a couple offs there, that this seems to be much more of a habitual problem, then it's something they need to, I think, look into as to, well, do I have a custody order first?
Right.
Is it an order? Is it a court order? Or is it just an agreement? If it's an agreement, then they've got to revisit that and they may need to go to court to get an actual order. If it's an order, I'm pausing. I'm going to drink and you're going to say something.
So, because I agree, the legal side of things, I think a lot of the disagreements in the comments are, does the stepmom have the right to say, hey, this isn't fair, this isn't okay? And I think so.
I think so. Now, I consider me biased because I am a stepmom to two boys. I've been in their lives since 2015, and it's 2022 right now, almost 2023. So I have been in their lives for a very long time. But as a stepmom, I will say from my own perspective, we've worked so hard as a family to iron out and shape out these rules, and we've done it for reasons, including ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, you have to be a little bit selfish too for the needs of your family. And Eric and I, we're a similar situation.
Yeah.
We're married, and the ex-wife is not. So there is a difference of we need time together by ourselves, and that is important to us. And it is hard to find a place if we don't have her to help out and to take them for some times, and we don't have grandparents around, that sort of thing. Yeah. You have to find your own time as any parent. And even if you're parents and you're not divorced and you have them, you got to find babysitters. You've got to find the family to help out because your own personal time is important. Yep. And if you're relying on that time, if you believe you have that time and you've pre-worked out that you're supposed to have that time,
that is disappointing.
It's extremely disappointing. It's very disappointing because you're with somebody you love. You've worked, you've gotten excited for the time that you're going to spend. It is disappointing, and if it's happening a lot, it is even more disappointing. And it does seem to be something that should be looked into. I do not feel that she, at least in the facts and the circumstances that are being provided to me, I personally do not feel that she is being selfish. I think she's being protective of her family and of her relationship while still loving her son. Or her,
It's
her
a son and a
children's- I
daughter,
think
I
it's her
think, yeah.
children, her stepchildren as she can, and making sure that they're supported, including by her husband. But she also has to take care of the family that she's a part of.
Isn't she the nicest judge? We've gone through 2 stories, and she doesn't think
Right.
either of them are the bad people.
I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but no, I don't think they're bad
No.
people at all.
I agree with you.
I actually feel very sympathetic to both of them. I don't know. Maybe
Yes.
one more that's really egregious, and we'll call
Okay,
it a
I'm gonna
holiday.
see
And
if I can
seriously, girl,
find-
why aren't you drinking?
I'm so
I
scared to
have
gulp.
consumed-
I'm so scared to gulp. And I keep thinking about it in like quite literally the minute.
Well, I'll wait while you do it, and we'll hear the
Yes.
gulp even
You
more.
guys want to hear my? Maybe it's like ASMR.
You're going to be told that you need medical treatment. Drop it in the comments if you think she has a medical condition.
Do you hear it?
Silent
Silent.
quieter.
See, I was
I
trying to
did
be
hear it, but
dramatic
it
with
wasn't
that
as
one.
bad. It
Okay.
wasn't. Yeah, I'm about to pour myself another glass because it's the
Yes.
holidays.
I will
It's
take
a
another
Friday.
gulp, and
Christmas
we will do
is on
it.
Sunday.
And this one looks like it's bad
Okay.
and also an employment issue.
All right, so we're going to hit some employment law. So
Look,
we had a little bit of the
here's the
family
thing.
law question.
Everything is the law.
It is all law related. What was the first one law related? Not really law related.
No, it was the
For the
wedding.
engagement, yeah. But this last one was family law. Okay, so let's hit employment law,
It
which
looks
I
like-
don't know much about at all. But we're going to pretend that I do. Have this last one. Ring in Christmas and the New Year's, tell you happy holidays, and
Okay, let's do
sign
it.
off.
The body shamed colleague. I have a female coworker who repeatedly calls me out regarding my weight.
Oh, no.
From the jump. Okay. I'm female, 5'9", 115 pounds.
Oh, my goodness, she's little.
Little. Well, I mean, tall and thin.
Would you like some more?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Just a little. You're welcome.
So that's like Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, that
Body
is
type.
thin, tall and thin.
Yes. Oh, and she even says herself, I'm 150 pounds and very thin. She is very overweight.
Okay, calling it like it is.
All the time she makes comments about my weight. She doesn't call me my name. She calls me slim. I even heard her say one time, go ask Toothpick. And she has said stuff like, you need some meat on your bones. You need to eat. I have only worked here 8 days.
Only 8. Oh.
I've asked her very nicely to stop.
Oh.
Yesterday, I asked her to stop calling me slim again. And she basically said it's her mouth and she can say what she wants. Bold choice, my friend.
Especially legally. Yes.
Right?
Okay.
Today, when she said, morning slim, I replied, morning chunky. This is what we call matching the energy, right? Like,
All right.
oh my God.
Okay. Okay.
She got upset and actually started crying.
Go figure.
I'm sorry. Everybody here at work, only 6 of us total, is saying that I'm wrong and I should apologize because being called fat is different than being called skinny. I mean, it is. Because being called skinny is a compliment. I said as long as she calls me slim, I will continue to call her chunky. And now, all of a sudden, I'm the bad person. Am I the, you know what, if I don't apologize? The owner/manager has completely ignored the situation, saying it's a high school issue and we should figure it out. We don't have HR. There are only 6 of us working here. It's a small cupcake shop.
Oh.
I'm sorry, this gets funnier every line I read.
She's chunky at a cupcake shop.
Right.
Oh.
We are all regular employees. I went to the owner before I called her chunky, and I asked him to talk to her because I felt she was harassing me. That's when he said we can handle it ourselves. That's why I called her chunky. I told her to stop calling me slim, and I didn't like it, and she continued to do it. She didn't stop doing it after I asked multiple times, and I didn't know what else to do besides copy what she was doing to me. She brought up my weight. I brought up hers. We like it. Matching the energy, fighting fire with fire.
That is something that you would do.
Yes, it is.
This is totally, if you ever needed a personality description for Chelsey, this is it. This is, I don't think your name was on there.
No.
But this is Chelsey's vibes.
I love it. Snaps for this girl.
Well, I mean, I I had one. I told you that
Yes.
there was so many crazy things happen at jobs, right? That's why we have a whole area of law called employment law, because there are really big problems at offices, at employment.
It's any place that you have large groupings of people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is. Or any jobs, companies that are public face. If you're dealing with the general public, my heart goes out to you. I have been there. It is.
I owned a cookie store.
Yes.
I actually am feeling a lot of ways about this one because I actually randomly owned a cookie store back in about 2009, 2010, and a couple years. So I'm feeling this, and I'm, as a boss,
Yes.
I'm looking at this with like watching the tornado come and watching a train wreck. That is what my eyes are seeing, is a train wreck happening in my store.
Yes,
between my employees.
Here's the thing. I also feel the boss, because if I was the boss, that is also exactly how I would respond.
You gotta take, I mean,
like,
dude,
I'm just not
whoever
gonna,
you are, you've got to take care of it. You have to address it in some way.
Yes.
But here's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
And I love that this is what you brought up.
Yes.
Because I am calling out my girl, Lawyer Paige, on TikTok. I don't know if you watch YouTube or listen to podcasts, but if you do, or if someone else will call you out, Lawyer Paige, I love you.
We follow you. We are obsessed.
We're absolute fans. And if there's ever a question
for her
that you can handle, it is Lawyer Paige's question.
Yes.
This is an employment law question. I don't know it. We do talk about legal things. I am going to admit I don't know what I don't know. It sounds awful. It sounds like an actual employment law problem for the employer is what I think is happening. That's what it sounds like to me.
I think it is very much an actual legal problem.
I think so too. I mean,
so we will see
it's
if
funny
we
and
can
sad
get in.
and awful and train wrecky
Yes.
all at the same time, but I think it is an actual legal question.
I think you're right. So I think it's an actual legal issue. And so maybe Lawyer Paige, we are just obsessed with you. So if you would comment, we would fangirl a lot. But any other employment lawyers or someone who's had a similar experience, we would love to hear about that experience, how it played out for you.
And what should this boss do? Because, I mean, I'm hardly... So on behalf of poor Slim, for lack of a better word for her, I think she's right in that I had a friend who did everything she could to possibly gain weight, and she just couldn't.
Yeah.
So we all, as most of the society, especially our generations, think of Slim as being beautiful, think of Slim as being something that you wouldn't be upset about. Why would you care if someone did that?
We've talked about this. The early 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
And I was very lucky to grow up in a household where like weight and diet was not discussed in our home. So I felt at the time, and even until recently, that I was pretty immune from the sort of the diet culture, the skinny sort of preference that was pervasive. I have recently realized that assumption was false.
Yeah.
I have seen beautiful people on TikTok take collages from tons of movies that I loved growing up, and what was considered appropriate to say, and also what body types are considered.
Oh, yeah.
That, like, I am truly shocked, and I assume you are too, because you grew up even worse, like 90s into the early 2000s. I grew up like 2000s.
It's what we were exposed to and thought this was okay and this was beautiful.
Yes.
But in essence, it's not necessarily okay or beautiful.
Right.
And people of any weight feel bad. It's just, it's not quite a constitutionally it's not a constitutionally protected class. So there are constitutionally protected classes that you can't discriminate against, such as race, sex, gender, age.
Disability.
You can't disability. You cannot discriminate based on those. So there isn't a class called, weight.
Right.
You can't discriminate against people on weight. You don't want to, and you shouldn't. But it's not a protected constitutional class. So in linking it into the law, it's not a constitutional class, but let's face it, weight is a big trigger issue.
Yes. And I think as a general rule, I mean, outside of law, obviously, this really does sound like an employment issue specifically because the boss was notified and refused to
do anything,
deal with it, which... This is why I'm not a boss, because that would have been my response. I am not going to get in between two girls who are arguing at each other about their weight. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But this is why I'm not the boss, because you cannot do that. You do have to be involved.
You have to do something.
You have to do something.
You cannot turn a blind eye, especially, or I don't think you can. Again, Lawyer Paige or somebody else, tell us what the real answer is. But But yeah, this seems like there's an environment that's being fostered.
Hostile work environment.
It seems like a hostile work environment kind of situation. You were being called names, and whether it's supposed to be a flattering name or not, you're being called names, and you shouldn't be allowed to. You shouldn't be able to be called names,
Best
and especially
practices.
if you've said, "I don't like this."
I think that's specifically what takes it to the next level, because I do think in a lot of places that's a compliment that can be taken just very depending on the formality. This is a cupcake shop, and they're not business formal. They're probably just
right.
And with 6 people, having that sort of dynamic.
It's a small shop.
It's a small shop. If she had never said, "Hey, please stop," I think I would feel less strong about it.
I agree.
But the fact that she did, she went to the boss, she went to the girl herself. So we know that it's some employment law out there, but as a person, what is your ruling? Was she in the wrong?
No. And I'm going to use...
Three for three.
Three for three. These are not jerks. I feel for them, and I feel like they did the absolute best that they could in the situation that they had.
We're all human.
And I'm going to give you an example,
Yes.
and we will stop. I'm afraid to get into any other situation, but I really am actually intrigued now as to what kind of employment law questions that brings up.
I really do think...
Because this is ding, ding, ding. I mean, the other was clearly domestic, whatever, but this seems like a problem, an actual legal problem that somebody could be sued over.
I think you can. And I know from the little I know, and this is from...
I know.
No. I recently took a civil rights and remedies class, and part of that was like a little bit of employment.
Okay, good, because I know very, very little about I would know workers' comp, but I don't know employment.
So this is clearly the little bit I know in part of a class I took, but I do think there's a complaint. I would specifically be hoping, and I mean, this is great legal advice for any situation.
We're not your attorneys. We're not giving you legal advice.
This is general.
Just practical advice.
Get things in writing. That was all I was going to say.
Yes.
And right now it seems like everything has been verbal. There's not a lot of documentation. So I wonder how that would impact a claim, because you would have to be able to prove it, right?
I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I'm going to shout out to this poor woman because I'm going to give a quick example.
Yeah.
Is my son, my older son, loves to make up nicknames for people. And right, it's coming. Wait for it. Myself. Oh, wait for it all. We don't get to choose our nicknames.
We just
are assigned and appointed nicknames. And this is not random. It's not like once a year. This is a constant, "Hey, banana. I don't want to be a banana." "Okay, well, banana, stop talking to me. I'm not banana." "Okay, whatever, banana." And it's like he just assigns things. And it's the most random, like, "Hey, midget." "What?" "Yeah, I'm talking to you, midget." And it's like he's assigning these things. And it's not just me. If it were just me, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm the stepmom. It's kind of against me." But it's not. It's truly every single person that he meets.
Oh, God.
And I don't know what kind of psychological issue this is, because it seems psychological, but he assigns people nicknames. And to me, it's offensive. He is going to tell you what you were supposed to be called. It's not what you want. I'm Virginia. I want you to call me Virginia. "Okay, Jenny." That's not my name. I don't go by Jenny. I have friends who are named Jenny, but I'm not Jenny. "Okay, whatever, Jenny." Well, that's not mine. It's offensive.
That's like a power dynamic thing.
It does seem like a power play.
Honestly, you know what it makes me think of?
In your place. Oh no.
This is what it makes me think of. So I don't know if you've ever heard of this. It's this thing called negging. Have you heard of this?
No.
So it is essentially these dating coach men on the internet who are like clearly recruiting men who are like 30, balding, and living in their mom's basement and trying to teach them how to pick up women. And it's this psychological phenomenon where you sort of give a mild insult in the hopes that then the other person, the girl, like if I'm the boy picking up you, like I'm going to mildly insult you. And that psychologically puts you wanting to get in my good graces. And it's like,
interesting.
It's a pickup technique, and it's called negging. And I've been on the internet.
Never heard of it.
I've been on the internet far too long, but it's a whole thing. But that's what it makes me think of, is that by him doing that, it's like a power move, right? Like to make you upset.
I think that it is. And it's not just us. He does it to whomever he meets. And it's gotten to be a real problem.
Oh, God.
But it's a similar thing is even if it's something silly, like who cares if I'm called banana? Well, I care if I'm called banana after I'm called banana 80 times and you won't stop saying I'm banana. It's a problem.
See, you have to yes it. Well, no. This is your solution. If you are dealing with people like this, it's what I like to call the improv response. If you've done improv, you know if someone says something, you yes and it. So if someone calls you banana, you'd be like, yes, and I'm banana split. Like you have to.
Oh, see, that's cute.
You have to take what they're saying, and they are expecting you to fight back. You accept it and one-up it. And it works every time because they only learned that one pickup line. They don't know how to move from there. So if you do it with anybody who does that to you, you yes and them. If someone is trying to be mean,
that because I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna tell you this, and then I'm gonna sign off and pretend I'm not saying any of this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm poor woman who responded with chunky because I responded yes, and you're a chili pepper. I know I'm not, but what are you? So on that note, happy holidays, everybody. Please go get an employment lawyer, whoever you are. Poor Slim out there, and I would call you by your real name if I knew your real name, because I don't think it's right for you to be called Slim. And I totally understand your reaction of calling the other person chunky. I absolutely, fundamentally, at my core, feel you.
I am you, girl. You are me.
I'm so sorry that is happening, and y'all, happy holidays. Please enjoy it.
Thank you so much.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And
thank
we
you
will
so much.
see you. Yeah. Please.
I was going to say, thank you so much for joining us. I think we've done the least controversial version of this type of content where you're reading these questions. One, because we agreed on all of them.
Yeah, shocking.
Right? And two, because you didn't vote that any of the original posters were the jerks. So
I feel like they were. Maybe you read some, I don't know. Maybe
Look,
they didn't seem that bad.
But we will open it up in the comments. If you think there's one we should see and you want our opinions on, you want us to vote on, please link them in the comments, email them to us, find us on the socials. We would love to do them.
Yes, we are a legal show.
Yes.
But clearly we're trying not to take ourselves too seriously, so we don't
Especially
mind
on
tossing.
happy hour.
Happy hour. Especially on
happy.
happy hour. Again, I swear, just like last time, I really haven't drunk that much. I think I am very tired, and I'm very excited that it's almost Christmas. So
we hope you enjoyed this mix-up of it. Throw a little fun thing in before, again, when we come back from the new year, we are going to be diving in deep.
Back on track. Gabby Petito, everyone.
To a multiple-part series, and we hope you join us for that. And again, we're so glad you're here. Happy end to your 2022. 2022, and look out for a big announcement coming in 2023 related to all of us. So teaser here, look out for that. Happy New Year. Check out all of your social media and the website come New Year and see the big announcements. Happy New Year, everybody.